So let's start with the big question, the one Milgram wanted to answer. Would a normal person, just an ordinary person, intentionally harm someone else just because they were told to?
And we're not going to do the whole Psych 101 recap today. I
Right.
think most of you know the setup, the fake shock generator, the actor screaming in the other room.
Right. We all know the terrifying headline, 65% of people went all the way to 450 volts.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're more interested in the other 35%. We want to know what made them stop. What was different?
Because it turns out it wasn't really about personality, was it? It was all about the architecture of the situation, the setup.
That's what Milgram called them, situational variables. And the first one is, believe it or not, basically about wardrobe.
The lab coat.
The gray lab coat, the symbol of scientific authority. But in one variation, the experimenter gets a phone call, has to leave, and some other guy in, just regular street clothes takes over.
And what happens?
Obedience just plummets. It goes from that famous 65% all the way down to 20%.
20%. That's an incredible drop. So we're not even obeying the person, we're just obeying the costume.
In a big way, yes. And it's not just the clothes, it's the building, too. The original study was at Yale.
Right. Ivy League, hallowed halls. That screams legitimacy.
Of course. You think, well, I'm at Yale. They must know what they're doing. So Milgram reran the whole thing in a rundown office building in Bridgeport.
The sketchy office version.
Yes, the sketchy office version. And suddenly, people are a bit more suspicious. Obedience drops to 48%.
Still high, but a significant dip. It shows how much that institutional prestige acts as a sort of moral buffer for us.
It makes us feel safe handing over responsibility, which connects directly to Milgram's next big idea, the agentic state.
It sounds like something out of a spy movie, but it's really just about liability, isn't it?
It is. You shift from feeling like you're the one in control to feeling like you're just an instrument, an agent for the authority figure. You're just following orders.
And the key to that state is distance, emotional and physical distance.
Absolutely. When the teacher and the learner were in separate rooms, it was easier. But in one variation, the participant had to physically force the learner's hand onto the shock plate.
Ugh.
And in that case, obedience dropped a lot. It's much harder to pretend you're just a cog in the machine when you can feel the person's skin.
But the reverse is also true for the authority figure, right,
Well,
when he was further away.
Exactly. When the experimenter left the room and just gave orders over the phone, obedience also dropped. It's easier to, reclaim your own agency when the boss isn't staring you down.
Okay, but for me, the variable that is it blows my mind every time, is the social factor, peer pressure.
The wild card. And probably the most powerful variable he tested.
So in this one, the real participant is with two other teachers who are actually actors. And at a certain point, those two actors rebel. They refuse to go on.
And the effect is astounding. Obedience completely collapses. It goes from 65% all the way down to just 10%.
10%.
Think about that. Seeing just two other people defy authority was more powerful than the authority figure himself.
It breaks the spell, right? It's so hard to be the first person to stand up and say no.
But being the second or third person is suddenly much, much easier. It validates that voice in your head that's saying, this is wrong.
And on the flip side, when the actors encouraged obedience, the rate went up to what? Over 90%?
An incredible 92.5%. Social pressure cuts both ways.
So you have legitimacy, proximity, and social proof. Those are the big levers that control our obedience.
Which leads to a pretty uncomfortable final thought for all of us.
We all like to think we'd question an order to hurt someone, especially if the person telling us to do it is just some random guy in a t-shirt.
But what if that order comes from a polished executive in a fancy corner office with a big impressive title, and everyone else on your team is just nodding along?
How many unjust things are we doing every day just because the architecture of the situation makes it too difficult or too socially expensive to say no?
Something to think about.
It definitely is. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.